Hello, everybody. By the way, I've appreciated all the responses about the upcoming UFC, and people asking about the Dan Hardy thing. That's on SiriusXM, Fight Nation 93. We're doing the post-fight breakdown and all that stuff. So listen, SiriusXM, if you have it, it's me and Dan Hardy tonight after the fight. So I'm heading up to LA. I'm in Long Beach at the moment before my big move. So yeah, people asking about backgrounds and better microphones and cameras. I'm moving across the country, so all that stuff's packed. Okay, these are my mom's cooking books. I'm staying in my mom's house until I move. So anyway, which is Monday. So anyway, that's why I don't have more stuff. That's why the sound isn't better, is because I don't have, all that stuff is packed right now. You'll get all of that soon. Calm down. So, GSP versus Matt Serra is right now considered the greatest upset in MMA history. When I said I think Anthony Smith over Jon Jones would be number one, should he pull it off. A lot of debate. I absolutely love that, by the way. Fans giving their opinions. Here's my opinion why. A lot of people forget when GSP lost to Matt Serra, that was his first title defense. He had just won the title against Matt Hughes. He had one legitimate loss to Matt Hughes by armbar. Tough fight against BJ Penn, ended up winning. He had just won the title. When Matt Serra beat him, he was a fantastic, talented, amazing fighter on the cusp of greatness. He wasn't there yet. Almost Matt Serra's knockout over GSP got bigger later. It was big at the time. It was huge. I remember seeing it, okay? But it got bigger as GSP's legacy grew and grew and grew, and that loss to Matt Serra, after all those names he beat, the run we remember GSP for really happened after the Matt Serra loss. Most of the wins that were the legacy makers were later. He had some good ones before that, but he caught, I think, GSP right as he was getting great. Right now, in 2019, about to take on Anthony Smith, Jon Jones is in the GOAT conversation right now. If Anthony Smith beats him and he turns to the camera and goes, "Great, I'm out of here. It's been a great career," all-time great. And all-time great. I want to say the all-time great. Without his out-of-octagon issues, without the PED controversies and all that stuff, I think he's probably number one, period. His out-of-octagon issues have caused a problem with his legacy. But he's right now in the conversation. If you say Jon Jones is the greatest of all time, I'm not going to argue with you. Not going to, we have a little debate about who should be there. He's definitely in that Mount Rushmore. Jon Jones is there right now. When Matt Serra beat GSP, GSP was not in that conversation. He wasn't. At that time, he wasn't. He is, of course, now. But people tend to forget that the upset at the hands of Matt Serra got bigger as GSP's legacy grew and grew and grew and grew. At the time, that legacy was just starting. So the reason I think the Anthony Smith upset would be bigger than Jon Jones, over Jon Jones would be bigger than the Matt Serra upset over GSP is I put Jon Jones here right now, where GSP, when he fought Matt Serra, was here. He wasn't in that all-time great discussion yet. So, is Anthony Smith a more qualified contender than Matt Serra was? Probably, yeah. Once again, both guys spent the bulk of their career at a lower weight class. At the time, Matt Serra was a puffed-up 155er. Not a lot of legacy names on his resume. Beat Yves Edwards, but Yves Edwards at the time was not considered great. I think he's an all-time great lightweight now. Once again, he had beaten some good fighters, but no legacy makers, So it's about where you put them as contenders. Anthony Smith, I would put above Matt Serra right now as a contender for sure, but I put Jon Jones way higher on the legacy category than I would GSP at the time he faced Matt Serra. And that's the big key to me. That's the big difference maker. So when people, a lot of people said, when I made that comment, "Oh, what about GSP versus Matt Serra? Isn't that number one?" Right now it is number one. But I think Jon Jones is at a higher place. And so if Anthony Smith beats him, and he's looked great in his last couple fights, we haven't seen that he's starting to slow down a little bit, been through a lot of fights. We're not seeing that yet. Could happen, but we haven't seen it. Other great upsets I was thinking of. Some people brought up Holly Holm, Ronda Rousey. Definitely, for sure. That was a huge one. BJ Penn, Frankie Edgar. That was a big one. A lot of people don't remember that. That was a big one. A lot of people didn't give Frankie Edgar a shot in that fight. and he came up and won, and BJ Penn had looked phenomenal up until that point. Weidman Silva, yes. But the method of the upset, it was seen at the time, if you remember, as kind of self-inflicted. You know, Silva dropped his hands, started mugging, and got hit. Well, it was more, Silva was a victim of Silva more than Weidman overcame a Silva in his prime. And, of course, in the rematch, he just shattered his leg. So it was seen as a huge upset, of course, but it was seen more self-inflicted than, wow, Weidman had a great performance. So that's why I would put GSP, Serra above all of those, and I would put, if Anthony Smith pulls it off, Anthony Smith above Matt Serra for his upset if he beats John Jones. So that's why, that's my logic behind making that statement. Please enjoy it. Feel free to disagree. And let me know what you guys think. Once again, with Dan Hardy on SiriusXM, post-fight tonight, Saturday after 2:35. Enjoy.